I was going to say, if the Florida Panthers win the next 3 games and they all look like they did in game 2, and we get a 5-game series in which like the team that I'm not really rooting for ends up winning the series, I will have no complaints.
It's still a great series.
Yeah.
But let's begin the show talking about the Stanley Cup Final, which now moves to Florida as the series is tied 1 game apiece. Both games going to overtime. Panthers winning game 2 in double overtime thanks to a Brad Marchand breakaway goal. And I am glad that we had a little time to decompress from it, because I'll tell you right now, this series should be 1-1. Do we all agree?
Yep.
If both games go to overtime, it's pretty fair to say, let's give 1 game to this team. Let's give 1 game to this other team.
Well, I don't like you don't give the games, but the series should be 1-1 because it's been won by a team on either side, and like I think the right team won in game 1 in terms of like who had the most opportunity, and then in game 2, the team that had the most opportunity ultimately ended up winning that game.
Game 2, one of the most exciting hockey games, maybe the most exciting hockey game of the year.
I would say so, yeah. Other than maybe the first round Oilers-Kings game 1, which was insane, but it wasn't as good of a hockey game. It was more of a circus.
Oilers, Kings, and Four Nations, I think we can put in their own like kind of specialty categories. But in terms of a Stanley Cup Final game with lead changes, with a game-tying goal by the home team, and seeing a building go crazier than anyone has maybe ever seen a building go in a hockey game, that ruled. Double overtime, both goalies making big saves.
The nastiness of the series,
nastiness,
like some controversial stuff. Like I think that game had a little bit of everything that you look for in order to elevate the Cup Final.
You watch the watch-alongs. Marchand scores the game-winning goal, and I'm just like, fuck, tip your cap, whatever. That sucks. It would be great for my team to be up 2-0. Angriest I got was like an hour and a half after the game. The Hockey News tweeted out the breakaway with, watch Evan Bouchard's back check here. And it's Leon Draisaitl's going for a change. He sees, oh, fuck, the puck took a weird bounce off the boards, and now the Panthers have it, and they're throwing up to Marchand. I got to haul ass. And Bouchard is also giving chase. Draisaitl has him. Bouchard backs off in case there's a rebound. And the Hockey News, which is supposed to
give news about hockey,
is instead, I hate to do this, like either stupid and doesn't understand hockey or going for likes and clicks.
Engagement baiting.
That was engagement baiting because 100% of the responses were quoting it being like, are you serious?
Well, I mean, that was like 2 parts of a lazy takeaway after game 2, which was that and then the Stuart Skinner discussion. And like I understand that if you want to have issues or be like, Stuart Skinner, I worry about his ability on breakaways. Well, maybe the Oilers shouldn't give up a handful of breakaways in front of Stu Skinner. And you can't say that Stu Skinner can't stop breakaways when he did stop multiple breakaways before giving up the breakaway goal to Brad Marchand.
Someone tweeted that at me. They were like, Stu needs to stop one of those. That's all I'm saying. And I responded.
At least one. He stopped the Marchand one, and then there was the Reinhart one that I also believe that he stopped.
Like maybe Grazov. Yeah, I responded. I said, he did. He did 2, in fact. And the person responded was like, oh, yeah, my bad.
No, that's good behavior.
Awesome behavior.
That's great behavior.
Yeah. Like in that moment being like, fuck, you got to stop those. He did. Shit, yeah, fuck. I just wish he stopped them all.
It's also like, it's like a penalty kick. The point of them, more or less, is it's an advantage to the skater.
They're supposed to score.
Yeah,
although I believe most breakaways are like, it's like 2 or 3 breakaways don't go in.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, I guess compared to like the rest of how hockey is played, it is easier for a player to score on a penalty than on a breakaway than just like on a 5-on-5.
For sure. But I guess like, I mean, not to like push back on my own point here, but like Stuart Skinner or Brad Marchand had 3 breakaways. He scored on 2 of them. So
beating the odds.
You're supposed to only score on one of them.
I mean, I'm taking Brad Marchand in that battle every day. And it's not just versus Stu. It's just big moment, game on his stick with more than half a second left. I know that everybody was comparing it to game 5.
Yeah, he has famously scored on every last-second breakaway against Sergei Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers in the playoffs. Fuck.
So
Always happens.
series is tied 1-1. Panthers are awesome. We knew the Panthers were awesome. We thought that the doom and gloom that was coming from our friends on the Lebitard show was a little overstated. But as Sean, you and I discussed after game 2, it's just how a series goes. Your team wins a game, and you're like, that team's going to win. Your team loses a game and is merely tied, and you're like, I can't believe they're losing this series again. I can't believe it's all gone. Your life hangs in the balance of all these games. And that's why we are trying to limit takeaways. And I was speaking of Lebitard show, our dear friend Roy Bellamy, and he was like, it's going 7. It was always going 7. So you can tire yourself out pulling your hair out about certain things and reacting to whatever. Like, you just got to know it's going 7. Do we think here that it's going 7?
Yeah, I think at this point, it's. I would put my money on that versus
going 6
anything
or
else.
7.
Yeah,
I think one team. I don't think each team is done winning. Hot take.
here's the thing: is that if these games keep going to overtime and like progressively longer overtimes, like if we get triple overtime tonight,
We're getting 7. We're getting overtimes based on the number of the game. It is.
yeah, right.
We're getting 7
corresponding
overtimes.
overtime games. Yeah, if it continues going to overtime, there is a chance that one team is just going to be fucking gassed and dead by the end of the
And
series,
that
and it
is
doesn't
why
go 7.
I bit my tongue on it. I should have just manned up and said it. Remember, I said I have a declaration
Yes.
that I'm sitting on, but I'm not going to do declaration talk. And we just watched the game. And it was the Oilers should win this game because they are the less tired of the teams. If they win this game, and the Panthers, having played more games than anybody else, the last 3 years, with some of their guys a little long in the tooth, although obviously some of the guys in the Oilers are a little long in the tooth, that is trouble time for Florida, going to a building where they don't play as well. If the Oilers went up 2-0 in that series, and the Panthers are playing long games and losing them, I would not declare anything or do a big takeaway, but I would be like, I am ready to say that it's looking very good for one team, and one team is lowercase t in trouble.
My big takeaway feeling after game 2 is like
Well,
the
no.
Panthers needed to win that game. And we went into game 2 saying it's not a must-win game by any means because we know that neither of these teams is out of any series, of any game. They've proven that throughout the course of their runs. But as that game went along, it was hard to escape the feeling like Florida didn't absolutely need it, especially having played a full extra game through the first couple of games in Edmonton. Like, if you had played, quote unquote, 3 games in Edmonton and you go back home with no wins, that would have been very, very tough to stomach.
Is a takeaway feeling the same as a takeaway? Because you started that point with my takeaway feeling.
I mean, we both gave takeaways.
Because it was a feeling versus like
I know.
a stamp.
You
being
just
put
used
on
the word
You know what
takeaway.
Sean's doing? He's trying to make people think that you're all over the map.
Yes.
I did not. But if that is a result of this, then that's fine.
You're saying if that's a takeaway, that he is all over the map.
Other people can have whatever takeaways they want.
We have a super chat that says, I believe it's directed at Sean from Cup. Yeah, nothing would make me happier than to see Sean wrong about the Oilers 4 series in a row. Love you, Sean, but I want to see your tears.
Well,
That's
here's the
completely
you'll
valid.
never see Sean's tears. He won't cry about it because he'll just be all over the map
just
and
go to
pretend
the
that
other
he.
side of
Yeah,
the map.
exactly.
No, I
yes.
mean, like I said before the series started, I'm not going to be like if the Oilers win. There's too many people that I'll be happy for me to be upset about it. I am rooting for Florida. I did choose Florida, so that is what it is. I'll be wrong. But
I also think that like you don't understand. Like, can I do a little game called DJ Knows You Better Than You Know Yourself?
potentially, yeah, we'll see.
You're rooting for McDavid to win the cup. That's what you were rooting for.
I'm rooting for the Florida Panthers, but I will be happy. Like that'll be a positive, like a silver lining, if you will. Like I'll be happy that he won. I'll be happy that Jeff Skinner kinda won. I'll be happy for the Oilers Nation folk. I'll be happy for the city of Edmonton. But like I said a couple of days ago, when I watch the games, I am rooting for the Florida Panthers to win. I can't help it.
Sean, take your shoes off before you go all over the map.
Yeah.
Like that.
I will
Okay?
say, by the way, the feeling that it's going 7. I did say maybe during the watch along that like all of these games are going to be coin flips, and sometimes you flip a coin that lands on head 4 times in a row. Like
Right,
it's 50-50
right.
chance. So like
That's all I want.
I think there's a good chance, obviously, that it goes 6 or 7, but like this shit ends in 5. Either way, I'm gonna be like, I'll be surprised if any of the games are blowouts. But if we end up having 5 games of overtime or 1-goal games, and one team wins in 5, like it'll be like, yeah.
Do you think there's a possibility? Sorry,
I was gonna say if the Florida Panthers win the next 3 games and they all look like they did in Game 2, and we get a 5-game series in which like the team that I'm not really rooting for ends up winning the series, I will have no complaints.
It's still a great series.
Yeah.
Do we think that it can be like last year where the team that scores fewer goals wins the series? The team that gets outscored wins the series.
I don't think so, because I will be surprised if any of these games end up as blowouts.
Exactly.
Correct.
I like right now, how can you not think every game is going to be close? And off of that, it'll be 5-1 Florida or something like that. But I'm with you on that, Sean. I think that, I mean, if you think it's going to be anything but close games, I mean, the Panthers did everything right last game, and still, like that, man, like good for them. I would have been so fucking demoralized by that Corey Perry goal at the end of regulation, where you do everything right and still you're like, how am I going to overtime right now?
Yeah, especially that goal. We watched that goal, saw like 3 replays, and we're like, how the fuck did he get that off? How did that go in? That goal was unbelievable.
Speaking of Corey Perry, you guys watch the PD breakdown?
No.
PD breakdown does not put it on Evan Bouchard. Puts it on actually Evan Bouchard being very unfortunate, because when the puck is coming off the boards, it hits like a crack in the board, something. It takes an unusual bounce to a Panthers player, and that's why they're able to, because like Bouchard was focused on just keeping, like holding the blue line and keeping the puck in the zone. Ends up on the stick of a Panther. The rest is history. I think it was Ekholm who took a slap shot right before that led to all that. Corey Perry was right by the net. Ekholm took a shot wide, like at Perry. And you know what Perry did?
Got out of the way.
He got out of the way.
Hate to see that.
And which like, PD wasn't saying like coward, but he was like, shots coming at you like that, it's human instinct to turn a little bit. If he just stayed still, pucks off him, game is over. And that's what's so great about these PD breakdowns. You see on almost all these big things, and he's not dramatizing it. Usually after like a big breakdown, he's always like, and here's how 10 seconds prior with one small thing, the other team scores instead. So make sure you subscribe to PD.
We all silly like the mayor.